Welcome back, everyone. It's going to be the tarantula tag part 2. So ever since I kind of started the first tarantula tag, a lot of people have said they would like to have a tarantula tag part 2 where we ask more thought-provoking questions. The one that I did was a great introduction so that all the channels could kind of meet each other, link each other, and you got like an idea of what their channel was about. And this one is a little bit more in depth. It includes some opinions, questions, or complex answers than the previous one. The first tarantula tag playlist is still on my channel and there's still videos being added to it. There's still people waiting to be tagged with that one. So check out the playlist if you haven't in a while. I think we're up to 48 videos, so crazy, right? So yeah, we're going to go ahead and do part 2, which was started by my friend David at Eerie Arachnids. Before we proceed though, I did want to mention that we got a really great molt out of my E. moranis, the skeleton leg tarantula. So I'm going to actually insert that footage now because this just happened this morning and I wanted to include it in this video and show you guys how I sexed the molts. Okay, so I just noticed that my female, I believe to be female, E. moranis, has molted, and it definitely caught me by surprise. I had a feeling she was in pre-molt, but I wasn't 100% sure because I think she was wild caught and she kind of seems stressed. But I have heard that the species kind of slows down and acts a little strange before they molted, so I wasn't totally sure. But it looks like we did get a molt out of her, and I'm going to try to pull it and see if we can sex it for sure. This is the molt that we got, and it looks like we might be able to gender it pretty easily. Yep. Looks pretty female to me. So for those of you who don't know how to determine if a tarantula is male or female, this right here, there's a flap between these two, see right here, right there. That is a flap, and that shows me that she is female. Okay, and this is another awesome thing. So if you put a light behind it, you see these two black spots right above the flap, those two things. So that shows me her female organs, definitely female. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's get started. Question number 1. If you could keep only one genus of tarantulas, which one would it be? So it would definitely be Grammostola for me. That is totally my favorite genus. I really like the diversity in it. I love the pulchras, I love the pulchra peas, even the porterias are cool. Grammostola grossa is a very sought after tarantula for my collection. That would be something I would love to add eventually. 2. One piece of advice I would give new keepers. Quality over quantity. You don't need 12 of the same tarantula. I know if you have a favorite, it's really hard not to do that, especially if you find a good deal. But seriously, eventually you will be so overwhelmed and have so many of the same species. Personally, for my collection, it grew really fast in the beginning, and it's still growing pretty steadily, but it did grow really fast. I don't have any regrets on anything that I've brought into my collection, but I will say that I am happy I am now being more selective of what species I get, just so I have a really nice variety of everything. Question number 3 is to say one positive change that has happened to me since entering the hobby. I think probably learning how to receive criticism better. People in the hobby aren't always so gentle and constructive, and it's just something that you have to learn, that you're not going to be accepted by everybody. Everybody's not going to like what you're doing, and that is okay. It is totally normal. Question number 4 is what do I regret buying and what do I regret not buying? I don't think that I really specifically regret any tarantula thus far. Yeah, I can't really, like, my NC was quite an impulse buy, and I am a little freaked out by how speedy that sling is, but if it was bigger and when it gets bigger, I feel like I'll be more comfortable around it, but I wouldn't say that I regret it. Now, what do I regret not buying? That would probably be every time I see a Gramostole polka sling and I haven't bought it. Like, I would love to have bought all of the Gramostole polka slings that I've seen lately. I really, like I said earlier, quality over quantity, plus I don't need to be dropping $60 to $100 on a species I already have 2 of right now. I think what I should do and what's more reasonable is just to kind of save my money and get myself a nice, big, confirmed female Gramostole polka, and hopefully that will soothe the itch for more Gramostole polka. 5. What is your favorite and your least favorite thing about the hobby? So my favorite thing is definitely, other than the tarantulas, the community, which I mentioned previously in my 5 reasons why I keep tarantulas video. So yeah, that's a pretty easy answer there. What is my least favorite part of the hobby? I'm gonna have to say, and this isn't like a problem, like I understand it, but it just stinks how expensive all of the tarantulas that I want are, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. 6, if you could do a collaboration with any YouTuber, which one would it be and why? I think Tom Moran, and we've talked about doing a collab in the future. We're just not really sure what to do. I choose him because he is probably one of my go-to for informational videos, especially husbandry related. It is a great channel and he, you know, knows his stuff. 7, what are your feelings on handling? I made an entire video about this in the past too. Well, first of all, I don't really care what you do with your spider as long as you're not putting yourself or really the spider at risk on purpose, especially. It's your spider, do what you want. I don't necessarily agree with it, especially with old worlds. I feel like the risk might be a little bit more than it's really worth. I'm not gonna knock anybody for doing what they wanna do, as long as they try to be safe about it. You know, it's not my place to kind of tell people what to do. For me, I don't really handle my tarantulas. You know, I will occasionally if one comes out, but I really just try not to. But I do sometimes, you know, depending. 8, what is your biggest mistake? I think that maybe my biggest mistake thus far is when I shut Salem, my male Gramostole polka's pedipalp in the lid. I just didn't look as well as I should have, and it was dark, and you know, that was a mistake that I made, but I learned from it, and he survived, and he molted, and he's fine, and he's great, and I've done several videos on it. But yeah, definitely look for feet and pedipalps before shutting your enclosure. Double, triple check all the time, and that's what I do now. What are your channel goals? So that's a tough one. You know, I want to teach people about tarantulas. I really want beginners to be able to come to my channel and just kind of pick up a few things. At the same time, I'm still learning myself, so I wouldn't say I'm an educational channel. I definitely make mistakes. I guess I'm more just to kind of document my collection, make new friends, have people learn through my mistakes when they happen, just that kind of thing. Yeah. Give 3 shout outs to YouTubers. So I will do Collection of Unseen Nature, Winton Night, and Scorpion Addiction. Those are 3 channels that I really like, and I think they should get more traffic, so I will link them down below if you want to check them out. I'm supposed to show off my favorite setup that I made, so let me see what I have. This is a little one, and you can see my P. Sasmani right here. Yeah. My favorite setup that I made. It is just made out of a Starbucks gummy container. It's just a really fun enclosure. I know that they sell stuff like this at the Container Store, but I just wanted to try it. I made a whole video on that. Anyway, I really love this enclosure, especially because of what this sling has done to it. Burrows are insane, amazing, and they've changed. It's really interesting because usually they have a burrow and that's it, but no, this one has changed its burrow. I think it might have caved in on it a little bit at some point, but if you see down here, there's a little tiny mold, and that's where its like little den used to be. Ever since it caved in, which I did dig it out, and it was fine. But yeah, it has burrowed in the opposite direction, and there's also there's a couple entrances. So yeah, really interesting enclosure. Not much to it at all, but definitely, yeah, I would say this is my favorite right now.
Kat, what is the best thing about you doing YouTube? What is your channel, doing the videos? What do you feel is the the biggest thing that you're getting out of doing the videos?
Well, the question from David specifically for me is, what do I get out of making my YouTube videos? And I 100% know it is an outlet for my creativity. So I went to college for a long time. I first majored and graduated for criminal justice. I got an associate's in that, and I was just kind of like, I'm not done. Ended up taking a photography class for an elective when I was doing that degree, and I loved it. So I actually bought my DSLR, I got a Canon Rebel T3, and I went and I just did my associates for photography. It fulfilled so much for me. When I went to college, I just loved my instructors. I still talk to some of them. I get coffee with some of them. Like, I literally met some of the best instructors, the most talented artists ever, some of the most talented students ever. We all learned from each other. We had this creativity. I was always getting assignments and fulfilling them, and we were having critiques. And YouTube, though it's not photography, is an outlet for my creativity. You know, ever since I graduated college, I've missed it so much. I would just love to stay and retake classes, and I think I might actually go back and take a filmography class just to kind of learn softwares and make this channel possibly better. I am meant to make things, and this is just another form. And now I am supposed to tag someone overseas, so I'm going to tag my friend Exotics Lair. I love his channel, and his content is probably one of my favorites. What I'm going to ask you, Mr. Exotics Lair, is, I recall a video where your OBT ran out up your arm. I think it went over your shoulders, and at one point you were holding it in the palm of your hand, and you seemed a little anxious about the situation, but you handled it really well. And my question to you is that something that happens often? And if so, have you become more comfortable with it happening over time? Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Next weekend we have an expo, and I have no idea what's going to be there. I've heard there's going to be some tarantulas, but I'm not sure who's vending or what exactly is going on. So we're going to check it out and hopefully maybe find something really cool. I'll obviously bring you guys along on that. I love bringing you guys along on my expo journeys, and that is good news too, because we have another one coming up. And although my favorite vendor will not be attending that next show, I think we might try to get a snake. Not 100% sure, but we might add another snake to the collection. Alright, and as always, don't forget to hit subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys around.